It's week 16. It's do or die time right now in the fantasy football playoffs. And we got a battle off the waiver wire. A battle of two jabroni running backs that a lot of people are looking to start this week. Thinking about starting. Or they're hoarding so nobody else in their league can start them. We're looking at Patrick Taylor and Kendre Miller. And what we do here is when the waiver wire is hot over two players, we'll go over the advanced analytics with both of them and see who we like the best, or strategize around them and see what we can do with these players. So we're going to look at both these players, look at everything about them, and then you can determine which one you like better. Let me know in the comments below so everybody else knows who you prefer between Patrick Taylor and Kendre Miller. There's some dichotomies between these two players that I find rather interesting. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. Throughout the season, we do this all year long. All year long when the waiver wire is hot, we'll do these positional battles. It really gives us a different deep dive. We deep dive players every single day. We deep dive the waiver wire all week long. And we help you set your lineups with the must start series, which will be another one rolling out today. And that one will be even deeper with all the games. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's there. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. He is a very happy fellow. It's Christmas time. Make him happy by hitting that subscribe button. But we're looking at Patrick Taylor and Kendre Miller right now. And this is an interesting dichotomy because you're looking at Patrick Taylor. He's playing behind the 49ers offensive line. We got Brock Purdy there. Things are more put together right now for the 49ers. You look at Kendre Miller. Alvin Kamara is doubtful. There's like a 25% chance that he's going to play. So there's still a chance. There's still a chance. But it looks like Kendre Miller is going to be getting his opportunity this week. And it looks like he's going to be getting an opportunity to show off what he can do. And we haven't had that chance throughout his NFL career. That's very encouraging. But we got Spencer Rattler at quarterback. We got a lot of injuries on this offense. This may not be a good look. We're going to talk about all that going in. But he's more of an athletic specimen. Got drafted in the 3rd round last year. Has a lot of upside to his game. Very nasty in the open field. We're looking at Patrick Taylor. 25 rushing yards in week 14. He's the favorite to replace Isaac Rondo. And the thing about that, they got some good running backs behind him too. Isaiah Benekanda was one of our favorite deep stashes for quite a long time. He's a very talented running back prospect. Over 1,000 yards during his final year at Pitt. He's a very stout running back prospect that could really get a few touches here and do something. That Keyshawn Vaughn on the practice squad, we're seeing if he gets elevated up. He was pushed back down. He's a running back that was okay at Vandy. Went to Tampa Bay, didn't get it done. But we're looking at Patrick Taylor here. Looks like he's going to be the guy. Looks like he's going to get the carries. And we got Miami on the road this week in week 16. We're looking at Kendre Miller. He actually has more production this year with the Saints than Patrick Taylor. 46 rushing yards in week 15. 32 against the Giants on the road. All good matchups for them. And we got the Packers coming up in week 16. Interesting matchup for him. The economy here is Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler, you do not know what you're going to get with him. The fake Patrick Mahomes. Kendre Miller here has a lot of juice in his legs. He's very explosive. He's got size. He's a guy that can handle it between the tackles and catch the ball downfield too. He's a very stout running back prospect. Looking at what Patrick Taylor did in college, he got over 1,000 yards rushing in 2018 as a junior. And 16 touchdowns. Very productive. The year prior, 13 touchdowns. So he's very productive at Memphis. In 2018, 3.03 yards after contact per attempt. That 2017 season, 3.06. Got some missed tackles forced there. 36 and 24 in those 2 years. Kind of lower end, but still. We also got the size to get it done. And where you got good vision and good anticipation. Looking at Kendre Miller, he exploded his final year at TCU. Almost 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, 3.64 yards after contact per attempt, 470 missed tackles, one of the tops in college football with that rate. On top of that, he was very explosive, one of the most nastiest running backs in all college football. Really took over then. Really did, and that's what got him drafted in the 3rd round. Had some injuries that really took over his career. We really haven't seen much out of him. He got drafted in the 3rd round, 308 off the board to the Saints. We've been waiting to see what he's going to do this entire time. We just really haven't. He's been injured. Coaching staff's been really upset about that. He's been in the doghouse the whole time due to that. Patrick Taylor, undrafted free agent. We were with the Packers for a bit. now with the Niners for a little bit. We really haven't seen much out of him either, especially when you look at the production metrics. Honestly, with Kendre Miller being banged up this whole time, he's been more productive for fantasy football. 5.4 PPR points per game, 2 RB2 weeks on his career already in 2 seasons, where Patrick Taylor, being in the league since 2021, only has 1. He's a UDFA. He's got to fight harder to get up the roster, get his opportunities and all that stuff. But still, Kendre Miller, when it comes to pop and wiggle in the open field, he's got more talent, more bursts there. But it may not matter in this one-game sample that we're looking at. Now, I got both teams wedged together here when it comes to production metrics. Alvin Kamara, 950 yards on the season, 228 rushing attempts, and also a ton of targets out of the backfield. That's zapped if he's out. More than likely he is out. 75% chance he's out. Jordan Mason's not going to be in there. Isaac Granda's going to be out. Christian McCaffrey's not going to be in there. And now you're looking at Kendre Miller has 130 rushing yards. Looking at Patrick Taylor, 50 rushing yards on the season, 3.6 yards per carry. Not the most explosive running back out there. He's good to get it done between the tackles, hold it down for an NFL team for a little bit, but not a guy that's really capable of exploding. He would need to score multiple touchdowns or some holes to break free for him to bust loose for you. You're looking at the work rates here. They're vastly similar. Kendre Miller got a little bit more work throughout the year. He's got 2 games of 20 or more snaps. Patrick Taylor has 1 with 16. Kendre Miller ran 14 routes last week. He's going to be using the passing game. He's going to get work in the passing game. We saw that last year. He had that deep target downfield that he brought in. Had a 38.9% route participation rate last week. He's going to be using the passing game. He's going to be getting that opportunity. That could elevate his fantasy production for this week or give him a better chance. When you're looking at Patrick Taylor's matchup here against the Miami Dolphins are about middle of the road when it comes to allowing fantasy points per game to running backs, PPR-wise. And they do not shut out running backs. The only backfield they shut out and preventing them to hit that 10 spot is the New England Patriots. Outside of that, Joe Mixon barely got past 10 last week, but we got there and he was banged up. So there is a chance Patrick Taylor, we got a 44.5 over-under, so they're expecting the ball to move a little bit in this game. Even though we got some players banged up going in this matchup. We got Jalen Waddle banged up. They're expecting a 44.5 over-under from Vegas. Vegas is saying that, not me. And we're just using that as a tool to gauge. They're expecting the ball to move a little bit. So there's a chance that they bend a little bit to this backfield, even though they're reduced when it comes to talent at the running back position. And you may see Patrick Taylor get you about a 10 spot. A 10 spot, he might get you at 10, 11, 12. And that's probably what you're hoping for anyways, if you're starting Patrick Taylor. I think there's a good chance that you get a 10 spot. I think the odds of getting a 5 is very low considering they only did it once this whole year. I think that's very low. I think this offensive line get good enough pushback. I think there's other weapons that they're messing around with in the offense where that Patrick Taylor isn't going to be focused on or keyed on to where, man, we got to stop Patrick Taylor because they got George Kittle and company. You're looking at Kendre Miller here, and we're going up against the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, just like the Dolphins, has stuffed one team, that's the 49ers, below 10 fantasy points. Tennessee barely got by. Jacksonville barely got by. That being said, they'll bend a little bit. They might bend a little bit to Kendre Miller. The one thing with Kendre Miller, I don't really see him get messed with as much. I think they're not going to explore this backfield. I think they're going to want to explore Kendre Miller. And I think the thing that could mess with him is Spencer Rattler. Will Spencer Rattler check it down to Kendre Miller? That will be the big question. The big question going into this game. That would be a huge question mark going into this game. They will break. But they break to a lot of volume and good running backs. Devin Achane, Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon. But if a hole is open, Kendre Miller, compared to a Patrick Taylor type running back, is more likely to bust it wide open. That could potentially happen. I think both of them are about in the same range. I think both of them are around that 10 to 12 point range and have good potential with that. And I think when it comes to not being messed with when circulating other running backs to see what they got, Kendre Miller's very safe because they want to see what they got with him. I think his upside's a lot higher due to explosiveness. I think it also could be much lower. I think the floor is much lower due to Spencer Rattler. I think there's some risk here. I think there is a lot more risk here, but I think the upside is much higher, and I think the 10 spot is very likely for him. And when I say not getting messed with, when I look at Patrick Taylor, I'm also looking at Izzy Abanikanda. They picked him up, and that was a very good running back prospect coming out for the draft that got stuffed behind good running back prospects on the Jets, and it got overfilled there, and he'd be great on any roster. He'd be great on any roster going into training camp, and they may want to explore what they have in him. They may give him a few touches here and there. Now I want to see what they're doing with Keyshawn Vaughn. If they bring him up, I want to see if that happens. Patrick Taylor should be getting most of the touches. He knows the offense better. Israel Abanikanda has more juice, more wiggle, more opportunity here, and they may want to explore that. They may not. They may want to just get through this game. They may just want to try and win it and get home. They may want to do that, and they may not be playing around here. Kendre Miller, we have Jamal Williams getting touches. I would not be surprised if he gets more than expected. He got some touches over these last few weeks, but not enough. Jordan Mims was getting touches here and there. I believe they're going to see what they got in Kendre Miller. If Kendre Miller starts hot or starts rolling pretty good, over 4 yards a carry, they're going to keep him out here and they're going to roll with him. That's what we're definitely going to see. I think he's less likely to get messed with. I think Patrick Taylor needs to cross the goal line multiple times. I think he's very safe. Patrick Taylor is, because we do not have Spencer Rattler. Like, if he's not getting messed with, he doesn't have a Spencer Rattler just to blow things up. Spencer Rattler, if he can push it a little bit on field, at least get him to scoring 15 points range, somewhere around there, you might get a little bit more out of Kendre Miller. When I look at these two running backs, I look at Kendre Miller having a lot more upside. I think you got a good chance of hitting that 10-point threshold. I think you do have a risk of Spencer Rattler busting very hard. And that's the scary part. But if I'm shooting for more of that upside and I need to hit that 20 spot, I'm liking Kendre Miller a little bit more. And if I want to be a little bit safer, I think the only risk here is if they want to explore Izzy Abanikanda and company behind Patrick Taylor, which they may not want to do. They may want to get in and out of this game, win it, and get home. They may do that. Patrick Taylor's probably going to grind it up the gut. You're going to need him to fall over the goal line a few times. He's probably good for a little bit of production, but you need him to cross the goal line to get it done. I think he's also good for that 10 spot. I think he's very safe, and I don't see the quarterback position blowing it up for him. That's the one thing. I don't think it's highly likely that he explodes, though. That he explodes and surprises. I think that's almost out of the cards. For that to happen, they have to keep moving the ball and get to the goal line. He just crosses it for them 2 or 3 times. That's where that has to happen. Where Kendre Miller is explosive enough where he can rush it for 150 yards and a couple scores. He's that type of prospect. Patrick Taylor's not that type of prospect. However, we have a limiting factor there with Spencer Rattler. That could inhibit that. Spencer Rattler's a very good prospect. He's very up and down. And he's been up and down through college. He's been up and down through training camp. He's been up and down in the pros even. Series to series. You do not know what you're going to get out of Spencer Rattler. So for me to keep saying that might be wrong too, because we might get the good version of him for maybe half the game, or maybe 3/4 of the game, or the whole game. Or we might get the bad version of him. That's just what we saw out of college. That's what's trending right now. So maybe I'm wrong with that. And maybe we're going to get the up version of him, because he has been a roller coaster ride. And maybe I should have threw that in more. Maybe that's my bad. But Kendre Miller's got more upside. Patrick Taylor's a little bit more safer. If I was picking one to start, if I needed to slam a home run for 20 points, I'm going Kendre Miller. If I just needed to get by, probably just roll with Patrick Taylor and just take that insurance and roll with it and play it safe and play with 2 condoms on. That's probably how I'd look at it. But if I need more points than 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I'm going to shoot the shot with Kendre Miller. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.